Okay, thanks for watching. In this video, I'm going to go over a process I have. I call it my qualify and conquer process. It's a manual process, totally free, for finding content ideas that you have a statistically higher chance of ranking for. So when I say that, and then how to build the content. So the qualifying piece is, do you have a good chance of ranking for it? The conquering is how to write the content. So let's go ahead and get started. Um, I have notes here, so I'm just going to go through my notes. So the first thing I would do would be to read the Google quality rater guidelines. So you can see Google hires quality raters to go and review results. If you want to see exactly what they're looking for, I would suggest that would be the first thing I would read. Um, the overall theme here is you want to build around topics and keywords that are already ranking high. So if you search for, is premium pet food worth it? Look at the top results. What are their H1s? This tool Thruuu can do a lot of this, and I'm going to go through this a little bit. What are their H1s? What keywords are they using a lot? Are they using images, videos, et cetera, et cetera? So that you want to do what's the word count, et cetera. So you want your result to be similar to the results that Google thinks is already a good answer, right? So there's no need to reinvent the wheel and create a piece of content that Google's not going to think is applicable to the query. Another thing is Google takes your entire site into account when determining what to rank. So the reason I bring this up is if you have a really good quality piece, but then you have a lot of content that's really thin, like that nobody goes to, it's not getting any traffic, it's really junky, or you have sample pages and backed up pages and all that stuff, Google's going to think you have a low quality site. And no matter how good that content piece you have that you just wrote, you may not rank for it. So I would use a tool like Screaming Frog, plug in the Google Search Console API, the Google Analytics API, find your pages that aren't getting any traffic, and I would purge those. Right? There's no reason to have them. It just junks up your site. And the more niche, the better, especially for new sites. So instead of, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head, is premium pet food worth it? Right. So that's good. That's actually pretty niche. But just an example to be even more niche would be, is premium cat food better? Right. So the more niche you can get, the easier it's going to be for you to rank. And one reason you want to do this is if you start getting the traffic for those very niche results, your more broad results are going to start coming into the SERP, or the search engine results page, because you're proving to Google that your results are good, you have a quality website, and people are actually reading those results. So that's obviously that's how you get traffic. But the more traffic you get, the more traffic you get, the more traffic you get. It's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? I found that, so you can also niche it based on industry or location, stuff like that. So if you were doing a trying to think, a directory for legalities on car insurance or something like that, you would do it, the legalities for car insurance in Omaha, Nebraska, or Nebraska, or whatever. So hopefully that makes sense. A thing that I've seen, and I can't prove any of this stuff, right? Nobody totally knows, is stay timely and consistent. Google tends to like consistent content. If you post once a week, try to do it once a week. If you do it once a month, try to stick to once a month. Now, it doesn't matter if you miss, by 20% or something. It's not that huge of a deal. But I think it's good for your users too. They know what to expect. So if you have 3 pieces of content built up, you might want to schedule those other 2 out. Another topic is you don't want to plagiarize. You don't want to just copy and paste. You can use a website called SiteLiner, but it's just common sense. When I'm researching how to write a content piece, I look at all the top results, and I kind of combine the best parts of all those pieces of content, right? So I don't write anything from scratch. So when I'm writing content, I first figure out the keywords I want to use, the themes I want to use, and that high-level stuff before I start writing, right? Because you don't want to just write then go back and have to fill in the keywords. So I figure out the overall theme, the overall feel, and the keywords first. And then you don't want duplicate content either. So you can use Screaming Frog or whatever, or you can do like site : website space pet food. And if there's a lot of content that's cannibalizing the other content, you want to get rid of that. Okay, so how do you find content ideas? So there's multiple places you could go. You could go to Facebook groups. You could go to, I guess, any number of places. There's all kinds of keyword tools. but I love answer the public. So you can see here, if I do answer space, that's not good. Let's do pet food. See, this is called Google Auto Suggest. So if these are based on this seed word or this keyword, these are things Google is auto suggesting. Let's just do pet food. So one place you could look is the people also ask. So these could be sections of your content. Now there's also people also ask scrapers that you can go to, and they'll give you free information. But these are things that I would write down. I would add these to a spreadsheet as things to consider. So let me go. So the website I like, answer the public. These are questions that people are actually, I'm assuming they're pulling it from Google. I actually never even thought about where they're pulling that from. So let's do pet food. So this would, if you have a pet blog or you're selling pet food or whatever, anything loosely, well, anything related to what you're involved in, because you want to build up that topical authority. So these, we could go down here, but these are the actual questions related to pet food that people are actually searching on. Whoops. So you get 2 of these searches per day. Now, if you need more, I mean, the right thing to do would be to pay for it. But if you do need an extra one, you could just use Tor or VPN or something with a new browser. So let's look at these. Why is pet food grain free? Now you might think, well, that's not going to help me sell anything, right? But it takes people, I don't remember the exact number, 7 times, 5 times, maybe 15 times to go to see a brand before it sticks in their head, right? And so this is just giving you brand exposure, and the more traffic you get to your content, the more likely your website's going to show up in the search results for your actual product pages. And another thing is, in this content piece is where you would, have little ads for your food too, right? So, okay, where to store pet food, where to buy pet food online. Let me see. All these, I'm just trying to find something that seems more niche. What pet food can hedgehogs eat? That's really niche, right? So that's something, and we're going to qualify this. Another place you could go, and we're going to get back to that. You could go to subreddits. There's a Reddit keyword research tool. You can just Google for that. Facebook groups, Uber Suggest, all kinds of stuff. So you can just do pet food, because these are questions people are actually asking, right? So let's do pet food. Oh, also you could just do like keywords everywhere and look down here. Keywords. These are multiple extensions. This is keywords everywhere. I like keywords everywhere. These are all pretty high level. So, okay. So pet food, right? Okay. So ideally, you'd want to find content pieces that there's not a lot of answers to, because you could also, answer the question with your content piece and then kind of sneakily link back to your web page, right? But you don't want to make it obvious, because you don't want it to seem like you're spamming. So when I'm plugging my content on Quora, I link to my page as like a source, like somewhere in the content piece. And I also link to another page on a different website, so it doesn't look like I'm linking to my page. So these are good. You could look through these. What I like doing is going to past week, because the content that's getting more traffic recently is the better content. So you go to Google Trends, whatever, right? Okay, I want to start a pet retail store selling pet food. How can I receive pet food online? Okay, so these are other places to get content ideas, right? But let's go back. I'm looking at my notes. Keyword Planner. There's Keyword Tool IO. You can use SEMrush. You can use Ahrefs. Exploding Topics is really good. They'll send you I don't use it anymore, but they have a free version. It kind of once a week they'll summarize new topics that are getting hot on the internet, because it's better if you can focus on something that's new rather than results that already have tons of pages competing for it. Google Trends. Go to industry web pages. What are they writing about? What are the top pages on your competitors' websites? Plug that into Ahrefs. Go to top pages. Podcasts, message forum topics, the comments and blog posts. So there's all kinds of stuff. Twitter. What's trending on Twitter? Another thing I like to do, I like to get the social media holiday calendar, and I have content pieces around the holidays. So when I have a blog where it says, like, where did Halloween come from? Like, that's kind of strange if you think about it. Where did all those weird things come from? So that content piece, I call this my lay-in-wait strategy. If I post that to Twitter, nobody's going to go to it, because it's like, I'm saying like in April or something. But in October, when Halloween is trending, you would post that content piece within that hashtag. And I also like to look at the top posts in that hashtag and comment my my content piece in those top results. And that's going to get you some eyeballs. It's not going to get you thousands of views, but I've had it give me hundreds of views at times because people might share it or whatever. But generally, you at least get, 1 to 6 views, something like that, because people are curious. So let's say we're going to work on what pet food can be fed to hedgehogs. So you want to focus on intent, right? You want to look at intent, whether it's informational, transactional, directional, commercial research, whatever. So is it answered? So it is answered. So, and that's fine. What we're trying, if you find a topic that has no answer to it, then that's something you'd want to jump on because there is no answer. Is the top result coming from Reddit or Quora or like a non-official site? I mean, they're official sites, but they're not like actual content pieces. They're people's opinions. Then that's something you want to focus on. You could also look at the result, and if you look at the comments and the comments don't like the answer, then that's something you might want to focus on. So anyway, what I do, let's see if I could a decent chance of ranking for this. So I look at the domain authority of the top results. So this is from which one? This is Moz, and this is which one? This is SEO Quake. I get them backwards. Let me see. This is SEO Quake. Okay, so it's pulling here too. It doesn't really matter. Now this isn't a Google metric, but it's going to give you a good understanding. So the Moz DAs here, 39 and 40, right? So the domain authority is how authoritative is this domain? Let me make this bigger. I can hardly see it. $38 and $40, and I kind of just take the average of the two. So that's between 0 and 100. So you can imagine the domain authority of like CNN is probably 87 or something. Fox News is about the same. Yahoo's probably 92. When you get down to like industry blogs, you're probably getting into the 60s, 70s. Then you get down into like people's food blogs, you're probably getting into the 30s, 40s, and 50s, stuff like that, right? So what you want to do here, and you can also look at page authority. I think that's on here. I don't pay attention to page authorities. Okay, it's in another extension. So I just look at the domain authority. So 38 and 40. I kind of just take, now this isn't a Google metric, but it's coming from, third-party tools, but it gives you an idea of how popular this domain is. So 38 and 40, so we'll just say that's 40. This is 68 and between 70 and 100, so let's just do 40. That one's on average 80. No, 68, so that's right about 70. 23 and 9, so you look at the top 10 results. So I'm not gonna go through them all, but let's just say it's something like that. So this is good. Now it's pretty good. The top results only come from a 40 DA site, but even if the top 3 or 4 are 92, 87, 76, 82, that's okay as long as there's a couple lower ones in here. This one has a 23 and a 12, so you want to look at the ones on the front page, right? If there's some low-hanging fruit, and that's something you want to focus on. Now, the higher the lower DA, then that's something that's a better candidate for you writing about it. Let me see, coming from a high. Okay, so moving along. So that's how you determine if you're going to have a higher statistical chance of ranking for it. So what I then do is I go to the results, and I want to get an understanding of, let's just go to this one. It's for the spruce pets. I want to see what these results look like. And let's copy this here. And we'll do hedgehogs eat. So I do these one at a time. This is really good content piece. Okay, they got a bullet list, general pet hedgehog food guidelines. Okay, so you can get the word count, etc. Now there's a tool called SEO Quake you can use. And you can really get in here and see a meta description, internal links. Yeah, links are really big. External links seem to show Google, I think, it seems to work for me, that you're part of the web ecosystem and you want to help people get from place to place. So that's something you want to put on your website. I'm sorry, did I say internal links? I mean external links. Internal links are also good because you want to link from site to site based on the keywords in your content to help people go from place to place. Now, any piece of content you're wanting to improve upon, have more links going to those pages, so they'll become more authoritative. So let's see. Let's look at keywords. Hedgehogs, pet food. So these are all pretty common. Care. So care is a keyword. No big deal. Hedgehog, your hedgehog to feed. Cat food. Pets learn. Okay, maybe that. Nothing really sticking out here. To feed your Instagram. Yep. Nothing really sticks out there. Sometimes you can get some real good keywords that you never thought of. So let's take, oops. Here you can get some good information too, title, meta description, headings, and all this stuff. But I'm going to show you another way to get this for all those results. So I go to Thruuu, Thruuu. You can just go to samuelschmidt.com or just Google Thruuu, right? So I'm going to type that in, and I think you get 5 free searches per day. So if you're not like a enterprise, it should be fine. Now there's tools that can automate a lot of what I'm going through here, like oh man, now I just Surfer SEO. I don't know if this is exactly what they do, but it's very similar to this process, right? So this is if you don't have a lot of money and you want to do stuff as a freelancer, this is a great way to do it. As that's loading, let me say also content pieces that are like brand A versus brand B are really effective. Any type of content that's original research, tips, tricks, how-tos, tutorials. I love content that actually is phrased like the question people are asking, like the 5 W's I call them: who, what, when, where, why. That's what people are typing in. Who is, whatever. Why is whatever, right? So that stuff, focus on all, those are just good types of content to write up on. Okay, so what pet food can hedgehogs eat? So there's no answer box, even though I think there was no knowledge graph. One featured snippet. Okay, 1,700 words on average, right? So that's something, you take that into account. So you probably want to write your content piece between 1,300 and 2,200 words, something like that. 7 images on average, right? And you can manually go back and check these because sometimes images are like from, advertisements or something. But this gives you a good general understanding of what's going on. So let's look at the results. So these are the top results. So you can see 5th result, lowest ranked page, least images. So it gives you some good information, right? That's good. So we saw that before. Now, this is where it gets cool. Topics. So these are topics that are common for those results. Insect. Okay, so that's something you might want to focus on. 1 word long, 2 word. This is, you usually get more stuff out of 2 words long. Food, dog food. Okay, dog food, right? So you maybe want to find out what they're saying about dog food and include maybe, can hedgehogs eat dog food? Treats for hedgehogs, live insects. What about a hedgehog diet? These are things all these keywords you need to put in a spreadsheet and see if it's something useful. Okay, dry cat food. So that's something, I'd write that one down as well. Okay, so these are the titles, and these are common phrases in the titles. So we're kind of doing the same thing as we did manually. These are the H1s. So if you see a lot of reoccurring H1s, you want to use those and put those in your, possibly put those in. Can hedgehogs eat other pet food? Can hedgehogs eat dog food? See, that's what we just went over. So these are H1s you would want to include, possibly. You got to, just what makes sense in your content pieces. So here's an outline. So a lot of good information there as well. Meta descriptions. So you can get a good idea of these meta descriptions here. SERP, meta. Okay, interesting. So that's the actual meta description, but this is what the SERP's displaying. And again, you can get the common keywords over here. Related searches. So this is like people also asked stuff. So these are things that I think it's people also ask. I never actually thought about it. That actually might just be related searches. These are things to consider including in your content piece. Quest. This is new. I've never seen this. Oh, questions. Okay, this is the people also ask. Now there's okay, from headlines, there's people also ask scrapers, and you can get tons and tons of results. So just Google that and you can get that. And then sources and links, right? So you can kind of see where the links are coming from. So that's how you get a lot of that's how you can start building up the framework for your content piece. You could also look at Wikipedia for pet food and use SEO Quick to see what keywords are common on Wikipedia for the topic you're writing on, right? Or hedgehog food. Well, there might not be a Wikipedia page on hedgehog food, but there is one for hedgehog, right? So you're just building up information to put a framework of the content how you're gonna build the content piece. So other thing I do, if you go back to the results, there's another free extension called Text Optimizer. Where is it? Here. And using AI And there's a paid version, but whoops, let's do this again. The free version, I do as much stuff free as possible, unless I'm working with a client that actually has paid tools. Well, I do have Ahrefs. I have a group buy on it, so it's pretty cheap. If you want to know how to do, if you're interested in doing a group buy, I pay like $15 a month for Ahref, SEMrush, and like 5 other tools, and it works pretty good, right? Let me know. So these are keyword based on this content. These are keywords that this AI tool, Text Optimizer, thinks are related to this content piece. So these are things: breed, pet store, captivity, solidarity, dogs and cats, dry cat food. Some of these you'll start to see over and over again. So what you want to do is just, you don't have to write all this stuff down, but just eyeball them and then go to the next top result. You can go to the top 5 results. If you want to go to the top 10 results, that's fine. And see if you can see some common keywords, and those are the ones that this tool suggests would make sense in this content piece, and those are the ones you'd want to add those to your content piece. To your spreadsheet and then to your content piece. So how do you conquer it? Let me look at my notes. I have a whole video on how to use the Google NLP API, but let me show you. You can try it for free. So just go to cloudgoogle.com natural-language, or you can just Google for natural language API. What you do is come down here. Whoops. Put in the content for the top ranking result. Again, you can do this for the top 3, 4, 5, whatever you have time to do. And this makes sense. You'd want to see what Google thinks of this stuff, because I'm sure this NLP is used in the search engine algorithm. Sorry about that. Let me stop talking. That would make sense, right? So let's go here. It doesn't work, ironically, in my Chrome there for some reason. So let's paste that here. Analyze, and you'll get a little CAPTCHA. So let's look at the entities, right? So I guess these, you can call them, these are like objects. These are words based on this content. I have a whole video on this, so you can just search my name, Google NLP or something. These are all keywords that Google thinks are important to this content piece. Obviously hedgehogs, so hybrid, that's interesting. Cat food, treat, that's interesting. And you can see here the salience, and I don't know the exact definition of this, but it's how important this word is to the content piece based on all the surrounding information. So obviously hedgehogs is the most important. Hedgehog, pet hedgehogs, this all makes sense. Insects, right? So that if it thinks this is high, then that's something you'd possibly want to write on. And you just do that for the top results. Now you also want to go to the sentiment. So how does Google feel about this document, this overall document? If it's green, it's positive, right? If it's red, it's negative. So it'll give you an idea overall if it's positive or negative. So you want to just make sure with this, if overall the sentiment on the top results, this one looks overall positive to neutral, yellow is neutral, then you want to make sure when you put in your content, it comes, back positive to neutral. If you're getting a lot of red, then your content is not matching the top results content, right? Most content's neutral, positive to neutral, unless you're writing about something very dark. Syntax, let me look at this. Not much you can do here last I checked, but let me just make sure, at least not as far as I know. So this kind of shows relationships between words and stuff. It's more advanced than I know what to do with. I guess hedgehogs need, so Google likes hedgehogs need together, so maybe put the words hedgehogs and need together. I don't know. I think that's probably what it means. I should look more into that. I just don't have time. And then categories. So basically, you just want to see, how does Google categorize the results? Hobbies and leisure, pets, animals, and rabbits, right? So you want to make sure that when you paste your text in here, that your result is in these categories, right? If your result comes back in sports, then Google's totally categorizing wrong, and you need to rewrite it. Okay, when you're putting your keywords on your page, you want to make sure you use the main keywords I want to focus on, I use them between 1 to 3% of the time in the content piece. And you can just search for I can't think of the word right now. There's word counter tools. Density checkers, word density checkers. And you want to make sure, hedgehog food is used between 1 and 3 to 3% of the time in the content piece. You want to make sure you put the keywords you're focusing on in the title and the meta description up towards the top in the first sentence preferably, but at least in the top 2 or 3 sentences, then there again thereafter, and then you need to pepper it as you keep going below. In the image name, you want that keyword. In the alt text of the image name, you want that. And in the URL as well, you want that stuff. So let me just show you. I have a blog. I don't really do much with it anymore because I'm too busy. So let me do this so I'm not back of the dollar bill. And I haven't checked this in a long time, so this may not be accurate anymore. So if you search for back of the dollar bill and you go to images, yeah, probably should have tested this before. My blog doesn't rank, it's a trivia blog essentially. It doesn't rank high anymore just because I don't spend much time on it. When you search the back of the dollar bill, my result was the first for like 2 years. Let's just do this. I'm just curious. And if it doesn't pop up, I'll just go to my blog and show you. Okay, here it is. So why that used to rank high is probably because I have back of the dollar bill in the title, in the URL, in the meta description, in the name of the image. Well, I have dollar bill here. I should have back of the dollar bill. Yeah. Then I sprinkle it throughout, right? So that's probably why that one ranks high. So that's the way you want to frame it. So that's a really interesting blog if you're looking for weird questions like, was Colonel Sanders really a colonel? All kinds of stuff like that. If you're bored, you can go have some fun. Keywords like best, top, amazing, super, great, unreal. All those emotion keywords and titles really, really do well. I like to keep paragraphs to a maximum of 4 sentences. You don't want to have what's called a wall of text, right? Where you have a paragraph that's like, takes up an entire screen because people will just tune out. It's good to break up paragraphs with bullet lists, with images, with videos, that kind of stuff. Now, if you can do a video on your content piece and embed that, let me see if I can go back. Okay, I don't know what happened to it. And embed that in your content piece. Google seems to like embedded videos. The more media it seems to be, it seems to work. You don't want to like spam it, but it seems to have an effect. And most people seem to only read about 25% of the content. You can put there's a tool called InspectLit. Let me just type it out for you. Inspect. Here. You get 50 free sessions per, well, it didn't work. InspectLit. It's just basically a little piece of code, and it allows you to see how this, well, that's actually how to use the tool, but you can actually see people, how they're using your site, right? Oh, another thing I didn't mention is you need to make sure the performance of your web page is good. If not, if it's taking 15 seconds to load, then it's not going to rank high. So basically, you can get 50 free sessions per day on this, and you can see how people see. Like this is an example of this person watching somebody use his website. So you can see what's working, what's not working. This is also really cool because you're going to start to see there's things broken on your website that you didn't know, because who goes to their own websites and that's constantly checking stuff. And it could be they're using a weird browser combination that you don't have. It might appear good to you, but not to them. And they're going to bounce off your site, and that's not good, right? Okay, let me see. I went over the text optimizer, internal, external links, use media, then use SEO friendly image names and alt text. And I like to include people's names, like influencers, in my content pieces. Maybe ask them if I can get a quote from them, or just find a quote from them on the web somewhere. Because these people, a lot of them, it's an ego thing, right? And you can reach out to them and say, I included you in my content piece, and hopefully they'll link to your content piece. It doesn't happen all the time, but it doesn't hurt. It's called ego bait, right? Because if they have a lot of people following them, and that's going to help you get traffic. And again, the more traffic you get to your web page is going to lead to more traffic, which is going to lead to even more traffic. It's kind of it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. In EAT, expertise, authority, trust, always in your content pieces, make sure you have a little author profile with it, because expertise, authority, trust is a real thing, and Google will start recognizing your name and preferably put links to your LinkedIn, your Twitter profile. Like if you're writing about pet food and Google sees your name over and over again and you're mentioned on different websites as being a pet food expert, then Google's going to start to recognize you as an expert on the topic, right? How authoritative are you? And then trust, how trustworthy are you? Another thing that I've seen is use as few stock photos as possible. You don't need a fancy camera anymore. If possible, do your own photos. And then for questions, you want to use, fact schema, a frequently asked question schema, because the results that have schema implemented do tend to rank higher. I got a few more notes. So Core Web Vitals, that's performance. That's a big deal. I talked about that. And then I have a thing I do called siloing, which you want to just make sure anytime you mention a product you're selling in a blog, this isn't exactly siloing, but anyway, anytime you mention a product you're selling in one of your blog content pieces, you want to make sure you link. So let's say you're selling like insect hamster food. I don't even know if that's a thing. Probably isn't even a thing. Anytime you mention that in a content piece, you want to link to that product page. Why you want to do that? Well, first, it helps you sell it, but B, it's also telling Google, okay, well, all these pages that have the anchor insect hamster food are all linking to this page. So that must be where that must be the page. That should be that page is probably the page I want to send them to if somebody searches for insect hamster food. And then promote your content, right? Go where they go. Go to Facebook groups. Like I said, use the social media holiday calendar. There's always things trending. Hashtag National Pizza Day. So if you have something on pizza, you put that there. Halloween. There's a holiday for there's like a holiday every day almost. Anything you can possibly think of. So hopefully this is giving you some useful information. If you have any questions, let me know. Please follow, or please like and follow. Please like that helps out. My channel's kind of new and I'm just really getting started. I do everything from WordPress to SEO to performance to security. I'm going to do a lot more security stuff. I'll throw in some crypto stuff. So if you like that kind of stuff, just subscribe. And I also do, when I do my SEO audits for clients, I post them here too. So if you want to watch videos that are over an hour, sometimes 2.5 hours of exactly what I'm giving clients, and it'll give you a good understanding of how you can do an audit for a client, just go look at those. There's a couple of them on here, and I think you'll find them very useful. So it's totally free. You can use the same framework. So I hope this helped. If there's anything you'd like me to video, if you need help with anything, or if there's any video you'd like me to do, growing the channel, I'm open to doing any type of content ideas, let me know. And thanks for watching, and have a good day.